Guys, it's Angela bringing you another coffee filter flower video. I would love for you to try this flower in any color and any sizes that you wanted. You can actually add more petals or take more away, add glitter, different colors or different seasons, add your own embellishment around it. They are great for any occasion. So if you want to try this video, stick with me. I used brown, 2 shades of red, 2 shades of yellow, and an orange. I also used glue, and with the yellow and orange one that I'm going to do, I used yellow food coloring, and with the others, I used red. Some scissors, water, some twigs from the yard or a walk, or you could use skewers. You're going to need some paint brushes. You're also going to need some wire, some gloves, some coffee filters. Let's get started. I'm going to use a teaspoon of red of each of the reds for the first flower, and then I'm going to mix it with a few drops of red food coloring and a half a teaspoon of school glue. I added a 1/3 cup of water and I stirred it thoroughly. I used 9 coffee filters for this. It's going to be tough to saturate them in that little bit of mixture, but you can still do it. You just won't have any left and you'll have to flip your filters around. Either way, you're going to have to do that. But you're going to flip your filters around and make sure that everything gets nice and saturated. It's a little bit easier when you don't add glue for this part, but it's worth it for the capturing of the color. You could also just add a little bit more water. For this part, I'm going to use about a teaspoon of orange, a teaspoon of yellow, a few drops of yellow food coloring, the water, and this time we're going to skip the glue. I just want you to see the difference in the consistency and also the intensity at the end. It's almost going to come out like a yellow color, but it's orange. But because when you squeeze the filters out, you lose some of the pigmentation, it doesn't turn out exactly the same. But these are the red ones that we did, and they turned out great, even though we didn't use a lot of water. So you're going to fold these in half, and then you're going to fold them in half again, and then one more time. And then we're going to cut kind of a circly top, and we're going to cut off, make sure that we cut into the sides of the filters where they join, at least by 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to cut about a 1/2 inch off the tip of the cone. We're going to do one set of petals that is about 3/4 of an inch, one set of petals that is about an inch, and then one set that's about 1.5 inches. It doesn't have to be perfect, but close as you can get it. Now the one with the 3/4 of an inch, we're going to cut 3 of those. For the one that's 1 inch, we're going to cut 3 of those as well. But the one that's 1.5 inches, we're only going to cut 2 of those. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to make the contour. We're going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of red, a couple drops of brown, and a couple drops of food coloring along with 1/8 of a cup of water. And we're going to mix that thoroughly as well. and we're going to use that to go around the edges of all the petals that we cut out. You're going to make sure that they're done on both sides and that they're very saturated, because we want it to bleed just a little bit. And then we can also go back in and use our finger, but we're going to go around the edges of all the petals. It's going to give it the depth that we're looking for. For the orange/yellow, we're going to pour a little bit of our orange paint mixture, add a little bit of brown, and then we're going to stir that thoroughly, and that's the color that we're going to use to contour the orange or yellow flower. And we're going to repeat the same process. The only difference is for this one, I chose to not do the creases in between the petals because I didn't want it to turn out too dark all the way through. I really wanted this color to show up, and it was already kind of faded a little bit because I didn't use the glue. So I just chose to do only the outer edges of the petals. And here's what the red ones look like. Orange ones look pretty much the same, only they're different colors. Now we're going to put them together. We're going to use 4 petals for one rose, 3 petals for the other rose, and then 2 petals for the last rose. Okay, this part is optional. What I did was I took each petal and I folded down the edge of each petal, and I folded it towards the outer side, the side that I wanted to show on the outside of each rose petal. I folded it in that direction. You can skip this step, or you can use a toothpick or a dowel or something. And this is what they look like when you fold them. You can totally skip this, but I like the texture. You're going to start with using a bead of glue around the opening of the first petal. You're going to start with the smallest one. The one that I contoured a little bit darker, because the center of a flower is usually darker than the outer portion, so I used the dark one to start with. I basically just wrapped it around the stick where the glue and the stick would attach and twisted it basically a little bit tightly, but gave it a room. For the second one, I'm going to use the 1-inch petals, and I'm going to try this time to kind of scrunch the petals as I roll them so they'll open up just a little bit more and not so snugly like the first one. And then we're going to actually twist the base after each step to make sure that the base of the flower or the petals are secure around the stick. And this, I'm then doing the one with the 3 petals, and you can just see that on the 3 petal ones, we pretty much use just one of each size. Below that, when we're using the 2 petal one, we use one of the smallest one and one of the second size, which is 1 inch. So 3/4 and 1 inch. On the 4th one, we're going to use 2 of the largest sizes. So we're going to use a small one, a medium one, and then we're going to use 2 of the larger size on the 4th rose. And I'm going to try and space the petals or with the openings on a flat petal. So we're going to kind of try to bricklay as we roll it. And this move is how we crunch the rose. Grab the base, grab the ends, grab the base tightly, and then push. And that's how we're going to make the flower look like a flower instead of a paper project. After we're scrunching it, like I just showed you, we're going to take the center of the flower, the centermost petal we can grab, and twist it the same direction or the opposite direction as we originally twisted the flower to make it tighter. and then we're gonna arrange the petals a little bit and add a little glue. Where you see a petal hanging a little bit low and not as close to the flower as you'd like, just add a little glue and then scrunch again and arrange. But you don't want to do too much arranging because you kind of want the glue to set a little bit. So just glue it and keep twisting, scrunching until you get it the way you want. Now to mix the green for the leaves, we're going to use a little bit of kind of a foresty green, some gray, and a couple drops of brown. We're going to stir that thoroughly. And then we're going to mix it with some water, maybe just a few drops, and just start out with a kind of a thick consistency and gradually water it down where you can actually paint with it and let it still be very liquidy. And then I'm just going to paint the base of the rose and the stem. So just like you see here, you're going to just do that for all of the roses, or you can leave them the way they are, but I kind of like the way this looks. It actually is going to match the color of the leaves. Okay, then I took 4 coffee filters and I kind of added some more water to that mixture to thin it out a little bit so to be a little bit easier to distribute through the filters. And then I dipped the filters and I kind of squeezed the paint in, making sure that each layer of filter had paint. And I made 2 colors, a dark one and a lighter one. The lighter one goes on the underside of the glue, or underside, I'm sorry. And then I added some school glue to this petal and I glue those together because I want one side to be dark and light. And then I took some wire, 8 pieces, about a few inches long, maybe 4 inches long. You can make them longer if you need. And I placed them around like in a pie shape. And then after I got the wire where I wanted it so that I can make each one of these a leaf in itself, I added the bottom layer to it and just make sure everything is nice and joined together tightly and smoothed out. And then you let that dry, and then you're going to cut in between those and make a triangular shaped, and then we're going to cut some 1/2 inch strips into another filter and make it for our floral tape. Now when we take the pointy pieces that we cut out, we're going to round them out and shape them like leaves and leave the tip nice and pointy. And then we're going to wrap the base with our floral tape and then cut the excess. Those are going to be used later, but again, the leaf step is optional. But then I used the floral tape that I made. I added a bead of glue to the whole thing and I just wound it from the top the bottom of the leaf, or the top of the wire, all the way to the bottom of the wire. Join the leaves, I just put them where I wanted them to be, positioned them height wise, and I took 2 of them and a piece of the floral tape and I joined them together. And I did the same when I joined them to the rose. And after I joined them to the rose, I made sure to join the whole thing together at the bottom with wire, and then I just arranged them the way I want them to be. I like it with the leaves. This is the rose with 4 petals. I like it nice and juicy. And then this is the rose with 2 petals. And it's so cute. And together with all 3 sizes looks very authentic. And here's the finished product. You can do this in any color you want. That's why I didn't give you specifics on the color, because I want you to make your own decisions. You can use them with any season for any occasion. And you can even use them with glitter. Just brush a little bit of glitter on to the edges of the rose, or a little bit of glue, and then shake some glitter on. Shake it off. Any variety you want to do. You can do them even in black and white. I love the ones in black and white for certain occasions. But I hope you like this video and come back and see me. And if you like, subscribe, comment, share the video with as many people as you think would need. And I will see you guys next time.